Why not? It's the Beekly. It's my show. Awesome. Thank you, everybody. We're gonna get into it. The chat is open. The Q&A is open. So please chime in throughout the whole process. What I also want to do, if your company has published a TCFD report, um, drop it in the chat or drop a link to it in the chat, and we can use that in an example live. This is not going to be any like if it's publicly available, share it, and we'll play with it. And if you don't want to, I have some backups. But we can do that for now. Okay, so let me share my screen here and we will get into it. Um, all right, so really quick, who are we? Beehive is an enterprise climate risk management software company. That means we use AI and great software to help our customers comply with regulations that require TCFD or IFRS reporting and actually plan for and respond to natural disasters. We now work with over 50 companies from large publicly traded ones like DocuSign and Valvoline, to many private companies like those in the portfolio of KKR, and many, many others. So you probably know many of our customers. So we know the TCFD thing fairly well. So first, before we get into this new tool that I want to show you guys, which everybody here signed up for, and everyone here is probably, there's the reason you're here to learn about what it is and how to use it. I want to sort of give the background of like why we did this and where it came from. So um, it's going to be a little sort of deep cut, but I thought it'd be interesting for folks because we are obviously also very transparent about how we're building Beehive as a business. And so I wanted to share a lot of that here. So as a tech founder, one of the platforms and the people I follow a lot is this company called SaaStr, and their founder is a guy named Jason Lemkin. Jason started a software company in like the 2000s, sold it to Adobe in the early 2010s. I was like a DocuSign competitor, and then he went and he started a venture capital firm and a conference called SaaStr. And for 10 years, they were doing traditional software investing, invested in many companies y'all probably use. And then, 2, 3 years ago, when AI became a thing, started going really deep into AI powered software. And in 2020, and so I listened to a lot of his podcasts and read a lot of his content and try to learn like how do you build a good software business. And in 2025, one of the things that Jason and the team at SaaStr started doing was using a lot of AI in their own marketing. So SaaStr, just like any business, needs to bring in customers and give a lot of value. And they began doing that with AI. And you can go to SaaStr.ai and see a lot of this. But just an example of one of I think they have like 15 products now that are all free and anybody can use. But one of them is you can upload your VC pitch deck and it gives you feedback and it tells you it gives you a score, it tells you your like fundability, it tells you how you might improve it, are your numbers good or your numbers bad. And they have a bunch of tools like that around like valuation calculators and how much are you worth, whatever. And I thought this was really interesting for a bunch of reasons. The first is that it's speaking to his target audience, right? Like me as a software founder, I raise money. I want to understand how much money I can raise and how to make that better. So it's solving a specific problem for me. The second is that he's doing something that's slightly contradictory, which is like everyone would probably say, why can't you just do this in ChatGPT, right? Why can't I just upload my pitch deck into ChatGPT and ask it for feedback? Or why can't I just upload it into ChatGPT and say, how much do you think our company is worth or how much money can we raise? Well, there's really two reasons. I mean, ChatGPT would work fine. It's amazing, obviously. But there's two things that SaaStr did better here. I promise you this will all tie back to the TCFD AI stuff. The first is the user interface, so the design of this, right? If I use ChatGPT, I upload the thing, I get a bunch of text back. It's fine, but I got to parse the text. Here, I'm able to give additional context. I'm able to interact with this more. They made a bunch of smart decisions about what I want to see. So I want to see a debt quality score. I want to see my investment grade. I want to understand how this works. So they give me context to that. So basically, the way they built these AI tools are such that the user interface called the UI is very interactive, very interactive for me as one of the users. The second thing that makes this unique is the fact that they have a data set that powers this that is specific and proprietary, meaning they have a point of view on what a good pitch deck looks like and a bad pitch deck looks like. And that point of view is partially because they're an investor that has seen 1,000 pitch decks, but partially because they've got a line somewhere here, but they have now done thousands of these things. I don't know where it is now. Their website's gotten kind of messy over time. But they have now reviewed thousands of these decks, and it gets a little better each time. So that's where this idea started. It was like, oh, this is something I use. That feels like a really interesting marketing thing. Where could this go for our customers about things that they care about? So I had this idea of what if somebody can upload their TCFD report and do this gap assessment and understand what would work. Um, Part of that idea is based on a couple kind of historical things. One is when you read TCFD reports, you see a very wide range of report. Just to give you two examples, this is from Jack in the Box, the restaurant, if you can call them that. And so Jack in the Box report, this is public. We can just see, I'd call this on like the low range of quality. They just randomly list a few risks. Climate-related risks are identified as focal points, include significant business disruptions and escalated regulatory expenses. Like, all right, that's nice in general. Somewhere else in here, Jack in the Box strategy does not focus on addressing the evolving climate landscape, but we recognize that climate-related challenges and opportunities might impact financial performance. Can't think of something more general than that. Jack is not currently able to disclose our greenhouse gas emissions. We're aiming to do that in the future. Can't think of something more general than that. And this is a TCFD report. So like, there you go. And this is a TCFD report from a really big company as part of, as you can tell, a 60-page sustainability report. Is that good? Is that bad? Well, let's compare that to something from PwC. This is PwC's own IFRS report from about a year ago, December 2024. This is not the full sustainability report. This is just the IFRS report, so the climate risk report. Look at this thing. Look at this thing. Oh my God. It goes on forever. This IFRS report is 65 pages start to finish. Look at all the governance they have. Look at the number of charts that they have. Look at the amount of detail that they have. The amount of work that went into this is insane. Is that good? Is that what a company needs to aspire to? I don't know. And so that's the first thing that I thought was interesting is like the disparity of report. And you all doing this work for yourself or for your clients, if you guys are consultants, are probably spending a lot of time benchmarking and saying, all right, like I definitely like PwC, it's amazing, good for them. And all right, Jack in the Box is maybe pretty bad, but like, who do I want to be like, right? If I'm a restaurant, what is Jack saying? What is McDonald's doing? Do I want to be better than McDonald's or worse than McDonald's? Better than Jack? Same as Jack? If I'm a consultant, do I want to be better than PwC, worse than PwC? Well, if that's what PwC is doing, maybe I should be a little better. Benchmarking is a big part of this. The second data point that I think made this interesting is just a memory from when I was sort of researching this business, and I used to be in carbon accounting, and one of our customers, a now currently publicly traded software company with a few billion in revenue, they were kind of walking me through this gap assessment that a like mid-tier consultant did for them. This company paid $75,000 to this consultant, not to like help them comply with stuff, but to help them figure out what they should comply with. And I remember, like, I think I have a screenshot of it somewhere. I remember the table that they came to me with, which is this is 2024, early 2024. And they showed me a table. They're like, look, we have a gap assessment. And it was like, there's a law called SB 253, and you need to measure your emissions and get assurance. There's a law called SB 261. You need to, you know, do a physical risk assessment, transition risk assessment, and write this TCFD report. Like, you may be subject to CSRD where you have to do this, that, and the other thing. And there's just the table. And I was like, oh my God, $75,000 on that gap assessment, and they didn't even do the work. Like that memory stuck with me for a long time, and I could do a lot with $75,000. And so that was just something that's been with me. So all those things came together. The SaaS AI, like marketing tools, as we build Beehive, the examples of good reports, bad reports, the conversation on benchmarking, all that came together. And I posted on LinkedIn about a month ago that we're going to create this tool. We're going to give this free product away that allows you to do things like upload your TCFD report, understand key investment opportunities, get an instant gap assessment, and benchmark against peers. And I kind of explained this post. And whatever, those who know me know that I post every single day. It's a big marketing strategy of ours, and these all do differently. This post blew up. This post had 89,000 impressions, 658 people commented, 21 people reposted it. There was like a lot of enthusiasm for this particular product. Here's some context about how this did. These are all my posts. This is that post. Like this is the impressions of my content every day. This is the bump that came from that post. People clearly were excited about this. Okay, that's lovely. You can also tell they were excited about this. 68 people signed up for this webinar. That is more than we usually get. Okay, great. So we have the idea, we got some good engagement. How did we actually build this? And I promise we're almost at the point where we play with the tool itself. So the first thing I did was I actually built a lot of this in an AI tool called Bolt. I recommend it. You might have heard of Lovable or V0. Bolt is very similar. It's basically with AI. And I'm not an engineer, I have zero coding skills, as my engineering colleagues will all tell you. I built this entire product, and you can see. Well, actually, you can see it took a lot of building, but I basically built this whole product just by telling it kind of what I wanted. And I said, well, I want a place where you can upload a TCFD report. And so you'll see it actually kind of works. So here's an example. I can upload this TCFD report and I want to be able to create an improvement analysis and get some scores and some strength areas and give me an explanation of what's good or bad. And then allow me to go back and like do this in another way. And I sort of built this out, showed it to some people to get some feedback. And then once we were happy with it, this went to our actual engineers to make it actually good. So the product that I'm going to show you right now is a product that was not built by me in this AI thing. It was built by real engineers with real good security and real good logic behind it. But it combines all of these things. It combines that original SaaStr idea of how do we make something really valuable for our customers that they would really care about that helps our marketing. It combines the kind of things in the back of my mind about expensive gap assessments and different types of reports. It combines just me using AI tools like this to build this out. And so anybody can go to beehiveclimate.com, go to resources, and click TCFD AI, and you'll be able to go use this tool yourself. This came out like an hour, or I published this like an hour ago. So let's talk about what this actually does. This is the tool. I'm going to show you a few examples of what you can do with it, and I'll show you some of the features. This is probably not going to be an hour webinar unless people have a lot of questions here, but I want to like explain to you how to use this, explain to you where it's coming and how we're going to keep making it better, explain to you what it's not good at, and what you should be aware of, and then leave you to play with it and hopefully get better. So the goal of this product is for you to upload your TCFD report and then get those three things I showed you. Get an assessment to improve the report, get a IFRS gap assessment, and get some benchmarking. One note here, we mentioned this here, but we don't train on your data. Your report is not stored, is not exposed anywhere. So if you have not published it yet, you can put it in here. It's not being trained on anything. If you have published it yet, it's published, so you probably don't care about that as much. But I'm going to show you a few examples of how this looks. So let's use as an example just the TCFD report. So I'm going to upload, let's show you what I'm uploading here, but I'm going to upload just the TCFD report. This is LiveRamp. They're a publicly traded software company. They just released theirs. You can see this is like not a big ESG report, just the TCFD report. And so I upload this and great, it's in here, it's uploaded. I have three things that I can do here. Now, the way I would recommend using this varies. I would use this improvement analysis if you haven't yet published it, right? If you're still thinking about what can I do to make it better, that's a good use case there. If you have published a TCFD report and you'll think you'll do another one next year, or you did one last year and you want to figure out how to get it better, that's another good example. But many companies are going to go from TCFD this year to IFRS next year. And so this second feature, this IFRS S2 gap assessment, would be the right feature to use for that. So if you want to know what is the gap between your current TCFD report, which has like 11 sections across or 11 questions across 4 sections, and the IFRS framework, which has over 100 data points that you need, that would be good for that. And if you want to benchmark against other peers or competitors who have publicized their report, you want to use this third feature. So we're going to go through these one by one, and I'll show you what it looks like. So let's do the improvement analysis. These models take varying amount of times. We use pretty high quality models because we want to get a really high quality result here. So we got to wait between 5 and 20 seconds for this to actually work. what it's doing is it's reading the TCFD report, it's reading the rules of the TCFD, a few hundred pages of guidelines and documents and data points. It's taking our point of view over what good looks like across what you'll see is four sections: governance, strategy, risk management, and metrics and targets, and two like more qualitative foundational sections, which are evidence and transparency and financial integration. And it's going to give a score for all of these. So obviously, first time I do this for y'all, it's taking longer than normal. So we'll refresh if we need to. But what the result of this is going to be is it'll like explain the logic of what worked. There we go. We finally got there. It heard me complaining and it picked up. Okay, so this report from LiveRamp got a 77 out of 100. You could see here that there's five sections that it got a high score on. We make it green. I think if it's a 80% or above. So you'll see these two are out of 10 because they're less essential. So they got at least an 8 out of 10 here. And these two are out of 20. So they got at least a 16 out of 20 here. And metrics and targets is the weakest on. And it gives some context in a bunch of different ways. So on its strengths, it'll explain here's what's working well, right? It talks about the fact that you have a non-gov committee. It talks about the fact that you have an ESG steering committee and who does it. It gives a few suggestions about ways to improve. So that's, how does management actually monitor the issues, be more specific. And just to take an example, like, did it get it right? Did it make it up? Whatever. Well, let's look at the report. So this is the governance report. You can see it found that it has a non-gov committee and it found that management plays a role in this. And you're right, it is kind of general. All it says is that it meets quarterly to oversee these risks. It doesn't say what it does about that. It doesn't say how it mitigates that. It doesn't say if there's any remuneration about that. So it's fairly general. So it did a good job there. Let's look at another one. So strategy gave a lot more context. So it talks about strategy and it pulls out an actual quote. So this is cool. So it talks about how like it used this AI-powered ECRM software for the scan and what it did. So it like documents the strategy fairly well. But there's some good opportunities here to make it even better. And metrics and targets was the place where it was the weakest. So let's see what it said. So until the LiveRamp has started measuring and disclosing these emissions, but it lacks specific targets. And LiveRamp should probably set intensity-based targets of some sort and establish those base years and timeframes. And then it might think about internal carbon prices and opportunity metrics. Well, let's take a look at that. So let's go down to the metrics and targets section. Risk management, metrics and targets. So what did it do? Okay, yeah. So it has scope 1 and 2 emissions. Um, some stuff about real estate. I don't see anything. Oh yeah, there you go. So we have not disclosed any public targets, so they're under consideration. So yeah, that feels like a reasonable weakness and something can genuinely improve. So pretty good job. Um, all right, let's do another one. So let's go back here. Let's start new analysis. All right, now let's do the IFRS S2 gap assessment. I'm gonna click and just kind of talk over for a minute. So one thing I want to make clear about the strengths and weaknesses of this, like I kind of kid about that $75,000 consulting engagement, but whether it's good or bad, that engagement, I'm sure good consultants are good and bad consultants are bad, and you have all types. The You could take what a consultant gives you to your board or to your CFO and say, here are the gaps. And because it was a consultant and they're smart and they thought about this, that is usually defensible. I would not take, I'm not encouraging that you take the gap assessment I give you here to your board and say, great, I know exactly what I need to do. Here are my gaps. Like, I'm going to go fund that. I would not do that. Like, please do not do that. Don't yell at me for that. We are making this better over time. What this should give you is a place to start. So here, as you see, when I look about the gap assessment, I'm 75% aligned with IFRS. I have two areas for improvement. Those areas are metrics and targets, just like before, but also financial integration. This should at least give you something to go off of. Denise, good question. We don't retain these reports, so we don't have access to them. We know that somebody used it, so we track like some usage metrics, but we don't have the reports. Okay, so let's look at the gap assessment. So IFRS has a lot going on in it. Oh, and I think, oh yeah, or we have this thing as well here. I forgot to share in the other one. We actually try to be as transparent as possible on how we score these things. So again, this is just a qualitative assessment. You might disagree with this, a consultant might disagree with this. Don't yell at me if you disagree with this. I'm sure I can find plenty of faults here too. This is just to get you started. But if you click this little how it's calculated button, you'll see we sort of set the scoring and what we consider low, medium, high. And if you want to read the actual guidelines of the IFRS, you can click there and that takes you to this. How long is this thing? I don't even know. Whatever, it takes you to this document. Oh, this takes you to the glossary of it. And there's other documents that we pull from. Um, okay, so let's take a look at some of the things we're doing well and doing poorly here. Let's look at new sections. Let's look at risk management. So we talk about what it does well. Um, it talks about the software it uses. It does talk about how it modeled it under three climate scenarios, which is a good thing. But it gives some examples. So how does this inform strategic decisions or risk management strategy, risk mitigation strategies, and how can you enhance transparency in this process? So how can you do a better job there? So that's an example of something that can get better. Again, evidence and transparency. It highlights the use of different SSPs. Let's see if that's true. I always like double checking specifics. So SSP1 2.6, will we find that here? SSP1. There we go. So we talk about SSP1 and SSP3. So that's good. It didn't hallucinate there. This did a lot of work to tell the AI, do not make stuff up. Like every time, there's a huge back end to this, where every time the AI makes a suggestion, it doesn't always display this, but on the back end, it sources why it thinks what it thinks. So like it sources it from a certain IFRS document, from a TCFD document, or from whatever you uploaded. Yeah, and here's a bunch of improvements. So one improvement, you need to disclose scope three. Great improvement. It asks about all 15 categories, and like we said, the current disclosure only does those emissions. Talked about carbon prices. So IFRS requires detailed disclosure of internal carbon prices and explanations of that. It doesn't have that. Let's see, financial integration. So there's no financial integration, or they didn't do a good job of providing specific details about the quantitative and qualitative impacts of these factors. So yeah, bunch of good examples there. Adding quantitative breakdown of this would be really helpful. Someone asked what models we use to run the assessment. It's not confidential IP, so not worry about it. I'm not 1,000% sure, but I'm pretty sure this is built on Claude. Pretty sure. We use a variety inside of our own software. We use sometimes Claude and sometimes OpenAI, different models. And then for this particular one, and again, I don't remember the specific one. I can find out if you're curious, send me an email. But we use the higher model. We tried it with some of the lower models because we thought it would be better if it was faster, but it just didn't do as good of a job. It wasn't as thoughtful. It couldn't source as many things all at once. So we use the more expensive models. So every time you run this, it probably costs us, 30 cents. So have fun. Um, are companies okay allowing their draft reports into Gen AI? Usually they're hosted outside of company servers. Company has an easy of that. And how does the model handle larger reports? I've noticed a trend for Gen AI models to break longer reports, even with chunking. Okay, great question from who asked that? From Abalash. So the first question was, are companies okay allowing their draft reports into Gen AI? I think you should ask your IT provider, not me. I think I did a following. Like if your company has made clear rules that do not upload private information into AI, you should not be using this. Like hard stop. Don't yell at me if you use this and get in trouble. If your rule says do not put stuff into unapproved AI tools, do not use this unapproved AI tool. If you don't have that specific rule, or if you're putting in a already public report, which probably most people will be doing, or if you feel that it's not particularly sensitive information, then it's probably okay. I assume many of you use various AI tools in a lot of ways anyway. I would say again, we don't train on this data. We have no need of training on this data. We have a lot of contained firewalls to make sure nothing gets out because that is not the point of this. There's you can't even pretend like there's value to us to do that. And I would also say we use a lot of AI in our software, and all of our customers are okay with that. So this is like the actual Beehive software. If you were a customer, and we do a bunch of stuff well, actually, let me go here. Customers upload their ESG reports, their 10Ks, a bunch of other information that they give us, and we use that all to draft a TCFD disclosure. And so, the AI comes up with a draft. Great. It usually does a decent job. I'm going to discard that one. And you'll see here we have what's called a version control. So the AI does a first draft. Your customer success person reviews it, makes some improvements. Then maybe like your CFO, your head of legal, or your whomever will go in and make additional improvements on top of all that. So you have some version control in here. So like AI is a core part of how we deliver the actual service to existing customers. And we go through, security processes for all that, so it's a little bit different. Your second, please tell me if there's more that I can answer for you there. Your second question is how we handle larger reports. I believe we chunk it, but you know what? I like testing things. So let's do what they call FIFO. Let's mess around and find out. Where's that PwC report I had? Here it is. All right, we're gonna upload this giant 65-page report. Or you know what? I wonder if I even need to do that. Let's see how long this one is. This one's 61. All right, let's do the longer one. I actually never done this, so we're gonna test this live. So I'm gonna download PwC's report. I'm gonna go here. I think if I refresh, yeah, that kicks me out if I refresh. We're gonna upload it here. Let's see how it goes. We're gonna find out. Oh, it went pretty quickly. That could be good or bad. Let me use it. I'm gonna show you this last one now. So we're uploading the PwC report there. Let's do a peer comparison. So for the peer comparison, we've uploaded a few dozen peers in here, and we tried to break them up by industry for you to find them. These are all public. So anything we have here, you can click this button, and that takes you like to the actual. That's the website. I think this is the actual disclosure. There we go. This takes you to the actual disclosure there. So these are all public. None of these are private at all. And so let's say PwC wants to, go up against WTW. Or do I have any consulting companies here? No. Let's say they want to go up against WTW. So here it's going to say, what is PwC good at? What is WTW good at? And who's better where? Um, and so let's see how it does there. While it does that, someone said they have strict AI rules for non-public information. We're redacting company names in the report. Yeah, that's a great question, actually. Company names don't help at all here. That's a really good point. So this person asked, I won't mention their name. They just messaged me specifically, but they asked, can they redact company names in the report? I think that's a great idea. So if you are drafting something and it says we are, Google in it, but you don't want us to know that you're Google, take the name Google out of it everywhere, take out any personally identifying information. Like, I don't know why you'd have your office address in there. You probably wouldn't, but just upload the bulk of it. And then the AI will basically say, here's what's good, here's what's bad. And that way, you're safe there. So I think that's a really good idea. Um, Someone asked how much human QA and training is involved with validating the accuracy of the models. We've done a lot of this. I mean, you'll see here, you'll see it takes a while to upload it to analyze that report because it's long. I wrote this post a month ago. I think this was December 3rd. I don't know if there's a way to see the date here. Well, that spike happened December 3rd. So it was probably December 3rd. We started building this, like building it, not like me playing around with it, like engineered, started building it the week before Thanksgiving. So that was like 7, 8 weeks ago. And we built it relatively quickly, but we spent the last 5 weeks QAing it. So we'd put a report in, we'd see what it said. If it made something up, we figured out why. If it felt inauthentic, we figured out why. And so we probably spent, I don't know, an hour a day for the last 5 weeks QAing it. And I'm certain there are ways we can improve. And there's a lot we're doing to improve both the model and actually, that's a good example. For some reason, I call this value PLC. Where'd that report go? Too many tabs, folks. Too many tabs. I wonder why. Oh, it thinks the company's name is Value PLC. Maybe that is the name. Like maybe that's like a subsidiary or something. Whatever. So where'd my thing go here? All right. So it says Value PLC, which is really PwC, but they picked a different name. Is better than WTW, and you can go section by section. So you'll see like around governance what it is, and then per section it explains where it's better. So here's how they both scored high on governance. Both boards engage with experts and set targets or whatever. Um, Strategy, where it's at, looks like risk management. The company I uploaded does a little bit better than WTW, and it gives some specific examples there. Scores higher again on financial integration. So it does some really good examples there. So this could be a useful tool for you to just see like how does it work. And again, you can click here, view the WTW report. This is public. We didn't pull this from anywhere. So you can use this for that. One thing that we're building here, I was hoping to get it in before this webinar. We didn't quite get it in. is we'll allow you to upload a competitive report. So, we only have whatever, 25 in here. And we'll keep uploading more over time. And these are all public again, so we're not uploading anything private here. But we've got some limited amount. It takes us time to organize and whatever. We want you to be able to like add a peer. And again, we're going to assume that peer is public because you have access to it somehow. And then it'll compare against that peer. So that'll be pretty cool. That'll probably take a little bit longer because now it has to read a new document it's never read before, but that'll be pretty cool. So good question. Hopefully I answered that for you. Is there a separate Q&A? Let me see. Okay, great. Okay. So those are, I think that's kind of what I wanted to cover with you guys today. So those are basically oops, where am I? Yeah, I was here. Those are the three sections I wanted to cover. Um, and sort of the advice I wanted to give and what I wanted to overview. I'm happy to answer more questions about like how we built it, how you might want to use it, what's good, what's bad, any of that stuff. What I would ask is please tell me what you think. Like I just put this on our website earlier today, an hour before this webinar. Again, you can go to beehiveclimate.com. Resources, it's the first one. We also have some other cool resources here. We have a course about climate risk, and we have a second course coming in a couple weeks. You can sign up for both of those here. We have the Beekly, which I'll share more about, but we have a weekly webinar, which is really awesome. We have this TCFD library. These are all, I think there's like 50 in here. Different publicly available reports. We just organize it all. So maybe you want to say, I want to see reports from US companies in the automotive sector. Well, great. Here's a bunch of those. You click that, it pulls up that report. So if you want to compare against Ford, download this, put it into our software, and hopefully put it into that TCFD. I think hopefully that could be cool. So use it and tell me what you think. Like if there are problems, if you think it's making something up, if you feel like something was wrong or inauthentic, tell me, we'll make it better. This is something we're going to continue to improve because I think as you and your company work through a TCFD report, whether you're a customer or not of ours, and I hope you all become customers, you should be able to continue to improve it and compare against it as you do this next very difficult task of growing from TCFD to IFRS, which is not an easy thing. Hopefully, this is like an initial tool for you, an initial step for you to like know where to focus, right? Again, I'm not trying to pretend that this replaces a consultant in full. Like you need somebody to give you advice or double check you or explain this further. Like if you find, and again, this is using that giant one, not one I had prepared. So I have no idea how this will go. But if you find that something is very low, it's worth looking into. And if you find that something is very, very high, maybe you can be sort of confident. Someone asked, would it be possible to compare TCFD reports from a particular country or certain metrics from 40 TCFD reports? 40, man, you got a lot of TCFD reports up your sleeve. I think the best way to compare TCFD reports like from a certain country, I don't think we can compare them well across a certain country at the moment. That would be cool though, because different countries obviously have different quality thresholds or compliance guidelines. But right now it's just one to one. It's a short answer there. Someone asked over and above the comparison function, can we just upload their own TCFD and get an evaluation? Yes. So this person joined late, but basically that's taking long because this is a long report here. Just go back. I'm going to upload a new simpler report. So we'll do one I haven't showed you. So this Braze report is a full ESG report. So it's not just the TCFD part. This is the full long report, as you can see here. Or actually, I don't know if you can see that, but whatever. There's a full long ESG report, and TCFD is like, I don't know, 8 pages of this report. So let's upload it. Let's see how it goes. Let's see how it goes. Yeah, so to answer your question, you click improvement analysis, and this is just going to give you an analysis of the TCFD report that you have. So it's an isolation from peers. It's not compared to IFRS standards. It's just like where are places you can improve in your TCFD report compared to the guidelines of the TCFD. So hopefully that helps. And again, we actually had this working much faster a couple weeks ago, but we decided to slow it down and use a honestly more expensive but a higher quality model. Because whatever, it's cool if it takes 4 seconds, but you'd probably rather it take a minute and give you something more valuable. So we slowed it down on purpose. And we're also making it give more information than it was before, because I'd rather it be a little more exhaustive and explanatory than less, which is again another decision we made. Um, so hopefully you like it. And again, if you don't, please tell me. I want to know. Um, yeah, so it's taking its time. It'll load. Can multiple reports be uploaded at once? No, just one report at a time. So you'll just have to do this one at a time. So you'll see here, this is what it looks like. This report got an 80%. It's got some improvement opportunities around strategy. Let's see what it says. So they acknowledge climate risk, but allow specific details. And here's some specific things you might want to do to improve it. And I think we can go here. It was a Braze one. So Braze, let's see what it actually said. How do I open up their ESG report? There we go. And Braze is not a customer for what it's worth, just for transparency. Um, but LiveRamp, the one I did at the beginning, they are a Beehive customer. All right, so this is their ESG report. Let's find the TCFD section. Great. Okay, so what was the feedback that it gave? So it said it acknowledges there's an opportunity of time horizon to last specific details on the impacts and resilience of the strategy. Um, so let's see, it gave specific examples and a description of the impact, but I guess it didn't talk much about the strategy of it. Oh, and opportunities, it kind of, well, yeah, I think it was just general opportunity, but didn't talk much about the strategy specifically, which will probably be in risk management. Um, oh, I see what it means. Okay, that's interesting. Oh, that's pretty clever. Good job, AI. So strategy, sorry, sometimes got to take a minute to figure it out. Strategy has three sections, right? If you go to the actual BI app for a second, strategy has what are the risks and opportunities. Strategy has what is the impact of these risks, and strategy has what is resilience of the company's strategy. Braze decided to, in their report, just talk about describe the impacts that you've identified. And that's all it did. It didn't answer those other two questions. So that's what the AI found, is that it didn't answer those other two questions. So pretty good. Can you export the results in a PowerPoint file that would help us save time? Well, lucky for you, you click download report. You can print this or save this or whatever, and it exports and it looks like, I think it cleared once I did that, but you can save it as a PDF and it looks like this. So yeah, you can do that. So hopefully that'll be good. Great questions. Um, Amazing. Perfect. Well, hopefully everyone likes this. I'm happy to stay on and keep answering questions while we do that. I want to show a couple things. So we do this pretty much every single week. Next week we have a cool one that I do about once a month called the Beekly. Or it's called the product training. I'll drop the link in here, but I go deep into the BI product. We go product roadmap vision. So what is it today? What's coming in the next month? And what is the vision for a particular feature? So if you're an existing customer or prospective or a competitor who wants to know what's going on, feel free to join that one. We also have some amazing interviews happening. This is going to be really cool. So you can go to this link and you'll see all of the events. But over the next couple of weeks, we have an interview with the partner and sustainability lead at Davis Wright Tremaine, which is a large law firm at Workiva. So this is the VP of Sustainable Solutions at Workiva. This is my friend Dylan at Braze, who leads sustainability there. This is Kira Ferber, who's the sustainability lead at Universal Music Group, and some other very good ones coming up soon that are going to be amazing. So very, very excited about all of that. Please join all those things. And then did I have anything else? No, I think that was it for me. All right. That was a lot. I hope that was valuable and interesting and useful. And again, hopefully, please use it and tell me how we can improve it. I expect to get a bunch of angry emails and maybe some complimentary emails. I'll take them all. But hopefully, a useful tool. Someone asked, can I pull a specific citation from where the reference is coming from? That's a great idea. It does that on the back end, I think, and that'd be cool if it did that here. There's places where it writes the quote. So you'll see here. For some reason, there's just one quote, but it writes the quote. So I bet if I copy this, I think it is specific. Actually, let's do a better one. This is more interesting. So if I copy this and search for it in the Braze report, there you go. So it pulls the exact report, the exact quote verbatim. So anytime you see these quotes, it's pulling it verbatim. It'd be cool if it sourced that directly. That'd be great. Um, cool, awesome. Glad everybody enjoyed. Thank you very much for the kind words. Use it. Let me know what you think. There'll be more things like this coming soon if this works well, if people like it. And if people don't like it, well, that'll be sad. But we'll do the next thing. Then you'll like the next one. Um, all right, I'll stay on for one more minute because I was told I always leave these things too early and sometimes people type slow. So let me know if there's more questions we can discuss. Ooh, reports in other languages. I don't think so, but I don't know. Try it and find out. I guess I didn't try it. Like, let's try it together. I'm curious. I'm gonna share my screen. Um, how do I find a report in another language? You find me a TCFD report published in French. Hmm. Let's see, this being French? No, I don't know why it said that. Uh, yeah, I don't know if it works in other languages. It's gonna be too difficult. Oh, here, Banque de France. There we go. Climate action report. Oh no, it's in English. I don't know. Try it out or send me one if you have one, and we'll find out together. BBZ Holdings TCFD is in German. Okay, let's try that. Hmm. BBZ Holdings TCFD report. Oh, here, someone sent it to me. Thank you. Okay, I have no idea what'll happen. This could be terrible. Um, but let's find out together. Let's go here. Let's upload that. I don't know. Which one should we do? Let's do an improvement analysis. Does it say TCFD? Like, how do I know? Oh, okay, I used the word TCFD here. And is this like all yeah, interesting? Whatever, let's find out. So curious. What a fun question. This will be cool. This is one of those things of like, I've been in software startups for a long time, and I've been selling software stuff for a long time. It never works, right? Nothing ever works. Everyone who's ever been in sales knows that nothing ever works. And so I used to, one of my first jobs where I met all my current co-founders like 10 years ago was a self-driving car company. And if you know anything about self-driving cars in 2018, is they did not work. They did not drive themselves. So I had to demo this thing that never really worked. And so I'm always impressed when something actually works. Let's see if this works. Let's look at governance. So I mean, I guess it worked, but I don't know if it works, like I don't know if it's making stuff up or not. Yeah, I have no idea. Something came out of it, but I can't, I don't even know what to search for. So something happened in another language. Better than nothing. I wonder if there's like a word. Well, whatever. Have fun. Let me know if it doesn't work in German and if that's very important to you. Um, yeah, good. Test it yourself. All right. Anything else? Oh, we lost most of the crowd, but we still got 10. Can we try one in Chinese? Sure. Let's try one in Chinese. Send me one in Chinese. And you can tell me if it works. Why not? Now you guys are just trying to break it all. You're just like really trying to break it all. Bank of China. Okay. Let's try this one in Chinese. Tim, I'm assuming you can speak Chinese and you're going to tell me if it's good or not, right? Or will it be the same? Okay, that is definitely Chinese. Made in China. How long is it? 39 pages. Let's find out. Okay, let's download it. Let's go here. Let's upload it here. All right, let's see what happens. Tim, you will be impressed if this works, right? Like, let's just all set the stage here. Like, if it does it in Chinese, you immediately become a Beehive customer, right? Like on the spot. I'd be impressed. I get a smiley face. All right, that's good. I'll take it. I'll take it. I think you broke the internet here. Okay, well, it turns like it did. Probably not. The answer is probably not. Uh, use a- I don't know. Does it lack detail on board oversight and managers while assessing these issues? I don't know. Does it talk about opportunities in different time horizons? Like, what's the best way to? Yeah, actually, here's a good example. Like, does it talk about scope one and two emissions? That seems pretty specific. And maybe skip scope three. I guess if it does that, then it works in Chinese. I don't know. Because everything got such a low score, I'm actually going to assume that it didn't work in Chinese because it's like a pretty long report. Or I don't know if this is all TCFD or uh or a broader ESG report. You got us. Doesn't work. Or maybe it does. I don't know. But yeah, you tell me. Um, Curious if it works at all. Evidence and transparency. Fragmented and unclear climate-related disclosures. I mean, does ChatGPT work in Chinese? Like, if I just uploaded that report, we're gonna find this is the most casual webinar I've ever done. We're gonna find out together. I'm gonna upload. I don't think you can see this part of my screen at the moment, but switching is too difficult. I'm gonna upload that report in Chinese into ChatGPT and say, summarize the strengths and weaknesses of this report and give me specific examples. Actually, I will share the screen with you. Give me a moment. We'll all the five strong here remaining. We'll learn this together. So if I just ask ChatGPT that, yeah, all right. So ChatGPT knows Chinese, and it's giving very different scores. So I think what that means is we don't know Chinese. They probably talked about illegal logging, wildlife trafficking. Sounds like it did that. All right, we broke it. Stick to English. Stick to English. Okay, perfect. Anything else in the last few minutes here? All right, beautiful. Well, thank you guys very much. Appreciate you joining. Hope to see you next week on the product deep dive. Enjoy the product, and we'll talk soon. Bye.